You ever look out a plane window and think, there's no way this thing should be up here? Yeah, me too. And I know what you're gonna say. Bernoulli, curved wing, faster air. That's what they teach you. And it's not wrong. It's just incomplete. Like saying a car moves because wheels spin. Technically true, but you're missing the explosion part. So let me explain how planes actually cheat gravity, and it's gonna get weird. Newton, you know him. Apple, head, gravity. But here's what people forget. Newton also said every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That's the real engine of flight. A plane flies because it shoves air down, hard. The air shoves back, up. That's it. That's 80% of the answer. The wing is just a fancy shovel. It hits air molecules and screams, "Get out of my way." And the air molecules scream back, "No, you get out of my way." And that push is lift. Bernoulli's principle? That's the sidekick. It helps. But the main event is Newton punching air downward. There's this myth. It's been in textbooks for decades. Maybe you learned it. Air splits at the front of the wing. Top air has longer distance to travel, so it goes faster to meet the bottom air at the back. Faster air equals lower pressure, equals suction, equals lift. That's garbage. The lift predicted by this equal transit theory is much less than the lift we actually measure. Because if that was true, an upside-down wing would pull the plane into the ground. But aerobatic planes fly upside down just fine. How? Angle of attack. That's the angle between the wing and the oncoming air. When a plane is upside down, the pilot points the nose slightly upward, toward the sky, not the ground, which tilts the wing into the airflow. That gives the wing a positive angle of attack even while inverted. Newton still shoves air down. Air shoves back up. Also, the top air doesn't meet the bottom air. It gets to the back way earlier. They're not friends. They don't have a reunion. So why do schools still teach this? Because it's simple, and simple sells. But simple is also wrong. Okay, so how do you actually cheat gravity? Cheat number one, shape. But not for the reason you think. A wing is curved on top and flatter on bottom. That curve helps air stick to the surface. It's called the coanda effect. Air follows the curve downward. More downward air equals more Newton push equals more lift. You've seen this. Run water over the back of a spoon. The water sticks and curves. Same thing with air on a wing. Cheat number two, angle of attack. Tilt the wing upward slightly. Now the bottom of the wing is also shoving air down, even more lift. But tilt too much, air stops sticking. Suddenly, no downward push. That's a stall. And a stall is when a very expensive plane becomes a very heavy brick. Cheat number three, speed. A wing does nothing if air isn't moving over it. So planes use engines to force air over the wings. More speed equals more air shoved down equals more lift. That's why a plane needs a runway. It has to go fast enough to trick the air into lifting it. No speed, no lift. No lift, hello ground. People didn't figure this out overnight. They crashed, a lot. This is Otto Lilienthal, German, 1890s, made over 2,000 glider flights, also crashed over 2,000 times. Eventually crashed so hard he broke his spine. His last words? Small sacrifices must be made. That's real. He said that. German efficiency even in death. This is George Cayley, rich British guy. Built a glider big enough for a person. Did he test it himself? No. He made his coachman fly it. Coachman survived, quit, and never came back. Cayley also carried a toy helicopter in his pocket. At dinner parties, When people said flight was impossible, he'd launch it across the table. That's the energy I want. And these two, Wright brothers. First powered flight, 12 seconds, 120 feet. After landing, the plane flipped over and broke. They fixed it, flew again, then went home and spent 3 years making it actually useful. That's engineering. Fail, fix, repeat. Try not to die. Today, planes are insanely good at cheating. Winglets, those little upturned tips on wings. They stop air from swirling off the wingtip like a tiny tornado. Less drag equals less fuel. We're talking about a 6 to 7% reduction in fuel burn. Fly-by-wire. Your joystick isn't connected to the plane by cables anymore. It's connected to a computer. You move the stick, the computer decides if that's a good idea. If you try to stall, the computer says, "No, idiot," and overrides you. Pilots mostly just monitor screens and talk to air traffic control until something goes wrong. Then they panic. But they're trained to panic professionally. And the big one, thrust to weight ratio. If your engine pushes harder than gravity pulls, you can fly straight up. Fighter jets do this. They don't care about wings. They just brute force their way into the sky. That's not flying, that's violence, and I respect it. I said I wouldn't do a list, but 2 stories. Quick. Story 1, square windows. First commercial jetliner. Beautiful, revolutionary. Had square windows. At high altitude, the fuselage stretches slightly. Square corners concentrate stress. Metal cracks. Planes exploded. Now all plane windows are rounded, because someone learned that corners are death. Story 2, the volcano glider. 1982, plane flew into volcanic ash. All 4 engines stopped. Plane became a 250-ton glider at 37,000 feet. Captain's announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain. We have a small problem. All 4 engines have stopped. I trust you are not in too much distress. That's a real quote. British politeness at its peak. They glided for 15 minutes, restarted the engines, and landed safely. Everyone survived. The captain's name? Eric Moody. Absolute legend. So, a plane flies because it shoves air down, hard. Air shoves back, up. Bernoulli helps, shape helps, angle helps. But Newton is the boss. I'm Grom. Like and subscribe if you learned something. If you didn't, watch it again. You're slow. Next video is going to be about submarines. How do they go down? Spoiler, it's like a plane but wet, dark, and everyone's pretending not to be scared. See you there. Or don't. I'm not your dad.